So you had the interview and you got the job, but now your start date is approaching and you're getting a little nervous of what you should be doing in your first week. Well, join me in today's video where I cover the 4 things that you should do in your first week to give you the best possible start. Welcome back to another video, and if you haven't already subscribed, then make sure you do, where we cover career tips and advice. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at what 4 things that everyone should always make sure that they complete whenever they start a new job. Now, starting a new job can be very daunting for a lot of people. You've got a new work environment, you've got to meet new people, on top of learning a new role. And what ends up happening is a lot of people just end up waiting for someone to show them the ropes. But you don't need to wait for anyone. After this video, you'll know what 4 things that you should be doing in your first week to make sure that you give yourself the best possible start. Now, ideally, meeting your colleagues would occur on the first day of your new job, and it's usually done by your manager or one of your colleagues, as obviously you wouldn't know who's part of your team. What you should be doing when meeting your colleagues is to try and understand what their job is. This way, if you have any issues, you'll know who the best person will be to contact for that specific problem. If you're confused about how you should go around introducing yourself, I suggest having a look at my previous video on networking where I discussed the elevator pitch, and this is essentially what you should be using when introducing yourself to your new teammates. After you've met everyone, I suggest on the second day booking 30-minute slots with people away from the desk somewhere to talk more freely about what they do in the day-to-day job. By being away from the desk, you have a dedicated time slot to talk to people where they're not going to be distracted by the emails or any meetings, and you can then have a better chance of introducing yourself and what skills that you can bring to the team. The second thing to make sure that gets completed in your first week is to understand who your key stakeholders are. By understanding your stakeholders, you're able to understand better how your team fits into the wider company. When finding out about the teams, you want to make sure that you understand what their scopes of responsibilities are. This way, you'll be able to understand what you can ask from them, as well as understand what they'll expect from you. And make sure you ask your manager or colleagues to forward any relevant recurring meeting invites that they may have with key stakeholders. Now, you probably won't be asked to contribute to them in the first few weeks, but by having the meetings in your calendar, you'll be better able to understand how your schedule is going to look in the next coming months. And again, if you want to understand more about what any team does, then feel free to arrange coffee chats with them away from the desk as well. Remember, it's a lot easier to make friends when there are no issues than to have to force a friendship when you have an issue and need the help straight away. The third task that you have to make sure gets completed in your first week is to make sure you understand what are your mandatory trainings, specifically your compliance and regulatory ones. Now, this might not seem like a big deal and just be a tick box exercise in your mind, but both auditors and regulators regularly review companies' trainings to make sure that staff are aware of the right procedures from a technical point of view as well as a compliance point of view. These days, there's a lot of scrutiny around making sure that employees are aware of their regulations and mandatory requirements. Senior managers of teams often review metrics of the completion stats and will follow up with individual people if they're found to not have completed tasks even before the due dates. So make sure you complete the trainings in your first week where you have more free time, as to avoid being flagged up by senior management. The last thing I suggest in your first week is to book a one-on-one meeting with your manager. Now, I'd suggest doing this towards the end of the first week, and this isn't necessarily to talk about the upcoming projects and workloads that you might have. It's way too early for that. But this is just to have a one-on-one meeting with your manager where you can talk more freely and in more detail after you've understood everything from your first week. So in this meeting, you want to be talking about your understanding of what the team does, any areas that you're not sure about, as well as talk about what strengths and skills that you want to bring to the team. This is going to show to your manager that you're trying to add value to the team, as well as your willingness to learn. And those are the 4 things that you should make sure get completed in the first week of your new job. By completing these tasks, you'll understand what the team does, have introduced yourself to everyone, as well as understand who can help you if you have any issues. And that's the end of this video. Hopefully you found it interesting and learned what you should be doing when you start a new job. If you have, then give a like, and I'll see you in the next video.